Call the meeting to order. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3, adoption of the agenda. Motion to adopt.
Support.
All in favor, vote, please.
Motion passes 13-0.
Item number 4, public participation. This is the opportunity for anybody from the public that wish to speak on any item that's on the agenda. Your period will be 3 minutes on any item. Second opportunity will be at the end of the meeting if you wish to speak on any item. No one wish to speak? One more time. One more time, we'll close public participation. Let's go to department recommendations. Item number 5. I would like to consolidate A, B, C, and D. Motion?
Motion to forward to full board.
Support, Zinner.
Please vote. Really, well,
Later.
unless there's a discussion from
We
anybody.
have to hear the recommendations.
All right. Vicki? Since you're here, we thought we could get this done in a half hour.
All right, so we'll start with the request for a approval for the 2023 annual action plan for the Macomb Home Consortium, the home program, which falls under CDBG funding. And with me, I've got Stephanie Burgess, who is the project manager, who now is embedded within the Planning and Economic Development Department, if you got any questions in regards to that action plan.
Any questions? Commissioner?
Yes, I was just looking at this. This is about the block grant,
Correct.
and I was just noticing, is there any reason that Warren wasn't on there? Did they not apply for that, or?
So Warren runs their own CDBG program. They don't fall within the jurisdiction of the county CDBG.
Okay, thank you.
Good question.
Commissioner Brown?
Why don't you explain what those criteria are, because the communities, so they understand, because they're more than just Warren has their own program. And
Correct, and it has to do with population. I know, Stephanie, if you want to give the specifics on why a community can run their own CDBG versus being under the county umbrella.
There are specific thresholds that a community has to meet in order to receive their own allocations. So the cities of Roseville, Sterling Heights, Warren, St. Clair Shores, and Roseville all receive their own allocation of CDBG funds. The rest fall under the county's urban county program. The city of Memphis has elected not to be part of that program, so we cover the remainder of the of Macomb County. Now for the home program though, we do the urban county, we cover the urban county, and then Sterling Heights, Roseville, and Clinton Township join with the urban county to receive home funds because they wouldn't be able to receive those on their own.
thank you.
No other speakers? Vicki, how about item B? This is regarding the Moonshot broadband.
Yes, so last month we presented, both Jaco and I, in regards to the Tri-County Summit Broadband study. There was one piece to that where we forgot to include the budget amendment. So we're bringing forth in the Public Service Commission, or this meeting here, the budget amendment for the Moonshot broadband access and data collection study for $100,000, not to exceed.
Any questions? Be it none, how about item number C now? We're talking budget amendment, planning and economic development for Michigan Strategic Fund.
Yes, so this is a budget amendment to receive some additional funding for our Industry 4.0 initiative in the amount of $176,471. This is a grant program where our small businesses can apply and receive up to $25,000 towards equipment or software as it aligns with the strategy of Industry 4.0.
Any questions? Item D,
All right, item D is also a budget amendment. This is a Michigan Defense Center grant that we receive. We receive an additional allocation of $145,000. This helps with our Protect and Grow efforts. I know some of you guys were at the Selfridge groundbreaking today. When we look at projects such as this, great scope, but someone's got to do the work, so these grants help offset a lot of the activities that happen behind the scenes.
any questions? This is awful, very quiet board today. Please vote.
All right, thank you.
Motion passes 13-0.
Next item is E, F, G, H, and I. And we need to hear from Brian at this point.
Motion to forward to full board.
Support.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Item E would be the contract, MDOT, for Coon Creek Bridge replacement. Total cost of $1,036,500. This is a 80-20% cost share, so we get 80% federally funded. Our cost would be $207,000 and $300. Can't talk this afternoon. So this is a typical MDOT contract, seeking approval to move forward. Item F.
That's good. Any questions on E? So be it. F, please.
Item F is a annual project that we have. It's longitudinal lane pavement marking lines. PK Contracting is the contractor, seeking approval of this total cost of $776,259. This is for our longitudinal pavement markings throughout the county that we do annually.
Commissioner Brown.
Brian, will this, part of this be used on Macomb Orchard Trail? Will this contract, there was talk about the Department of Roads going to do some striping work on the Macomb Orchard Trail. Would this company be leveraged to do that part of the project? Or do that project, or would that be something separate that we would contract for?
As far as the Macomb Orchard Trail is concerned, that's not part of this project.
Okay.
But PK is one of the only longitudinal pavement markers in the state, pretty much. I think there's one other one that we very rarely have. But yeah, that's separate from this contract.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Santini.
Thank you. Brian, you said there's only other one markings contractor out there. I take it that's why this didn't go out the bid? Or did this go out the bid?
I believe this should have went out to bid. I guess in the notes, PK Contracting has always been on this project annually and has also bought out the other pavement marking company that I just referred to, so.
So they're the only company now.
So, looks like they have pretty much a monopoly, but there has been traditionally very few companies in the state actually that do longitudinal pavement marking, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Any other speakers?
Item G would be a cost share agreement with Washington Township for a local agency project, which would be a 50-50 between us and the community. It is for Mound Road resurfacing and repair between 26 and 28 mile, a 2-mile stretch. A total cost of $1,145,698 that would be split 50-50 with Washington Township. So seeking approval of this cost share agreement.
Any questions? Item H, third-party agreement.
Yes, H and I are related. One obviously is for preliminary engineering services for Mound, which is South Mound from 8 to 11 mile or 696. That is obviously we're moving forward with looking at a project that's well-deserved and well-needed to, I guess, extend the Innovate Mound project to the south, down to 8 Mile. Obviously, this is a heavier lift, just as item I is, as far as funding. So we are looking at continuing the preliminary engineering for submittal of major grant funding for these two projects, both H and I. So seeking approval of the third-party agreement with H&TB Corporation, which we have currently under contract. They have done an initial submittal for the South Mound project, which did not make and cut the criteria as far as funding, but we are back at the drawing board again to fine-tune that, enhance it, and improve it to hopefully get additional funding for both of those projects as listed.
Any speakers? Commissioner Brown?
So what exactly were we getting for the $1 million then?
If you look in your packet, under Exhibit A, which is a summary of deliverables, so basically, the scope of services, HNTB is going to look at the entire corridor, go through the investigative study that's required to move a project like this forward, and do environmental investigations, look at different options as far as configurations of how many lanes, what types of repair, looking at the prep work that we need to submit to the federal institutions that have the grant monies, so we can provide a narrative to why we need this project and what's involved with the scope of it moving forward. So we did it with the Innovate Mound project. It's basically the groundwork that we need to do in order to move both these projects forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Brian.
Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner.
No other speakers? Please vote.
Commissioner Kraft, did your vote come through? No.
But I vote yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0.
You better vote yes for that one.
Waiting on you, Mr. Perna.
Didn't read the vote, did you?
Motion passed 13-0.
Item J and K, I'd like to put together. Brian, you're back on the hot seat here.
No worries.
Motion to refer to board.
Motion moved to full board.
Support Nard.
Mr. Chair, these are for full board approval at this committee. I think the motions need to be amended.
You say it needs to be amended?
He's looking for full board approval at this committee.
Correct.
Final sign off today.
So the motion needs to be amended.
All right. Motion to approve. Separate them? All right, let's separate I, or J rather, please.
Motion moved J to full board.
Support Nard.
Motion to approve.
No, approve. Requested
Approve
every
today.
committee.
Support.
Great, thank you, Commissioners. Yes, items J and K are similar in nature in that they are our 2023 pavement preservation programs. They are our annual programs that obviously are very vested in the communities. The first J being our hot mix asphalt, HMA pavement preservation project. This one we were able to bolster a little bit more money. We typically invest $3 million each per year per program. We're able to invest a little bit more this year into both projects. We did receive some carbon reduction money, and we had allocated $1.5 million to a Romeo Plank project between 21.5 and 23 Mile. So we got $1.5 million carbon reduction grant funding for that project. So we're able to pull that $1.5 million and invest it additionally into both these programs. So seeking approval for Spartan Paving Incorporated for the 2023 pavement preservation project, hot mix asphalt, in the total amount of $4,799,691.90. Seeking approval of this board and committee today, for approval today. The contractor is ready to go. Obviously, my staff attempts to get everything lined up to you guys to approve or move forward from this committee to full board. But inevitably, things don't always align, but the contractor in this project and the other project, as far as the concrete, are ready to go and want to get a start. It is very challenging with this dollar value in both programs to get everything complete in one season. There are multiple locations, a lot of work that needs to go into these projects, so every day does count. So we're not pushing this towards the cold weather, towards the latter part of the season. So that's why I'm seeking both these for approval today in both capacities. So seeking approval of item J.
Commissioner Kraft, you withdrew?
I did, but I think I have another question since you called on me anyway. Brian, this is something we do annually every year. And I know we're approving it today instead of 3 days from now and whatever, we're ready to go. Is there a way to move this process up earlier so that when, it gets to be weather like this, we're hitting the ground running, say late April, early May, or does weather really play a factor in this decision?
We've strategically tried to move this up earlier and earlier. It has to do with, obviously, when our projects finish from the year previous, when we get time to be able to sit down and look at projects for the following year. So we have sped it up as far as our department's concerned, as far as trying to get it out earlier and earlier. It's just one of those things that we're trying to expedite it as quickly as possible.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, Brian, 3 days, really? 3 days is going to make that big of a difference?
When the contractor's ready to go, Commissioner Brown, yes, it does. They're
going to be out working this afternoon when we approve it this afternoon?
They'll be out this week,
tomorrow?
yes, both projects. Setting out traffic control items, yes.
We're happy to accommodate, but 3 days,
as we talked in the past, Commissioner, and Commissioners, the items that I move forward, obviously are time sensitive, and we do everything possible with our staff to get these in front of your committee meetings. Inevitably, there's going to be occurrences when our timing doesn't always match with your committee meetings. And yes, a day now means 3 or 4 or 5 days when it comes to October, November, and sometimes into December. And if we are bolstering the size of these, it does make a difference.
All right.
Thank you.
We've been accommodating.
Very well taken and much appreciated.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Zinner?
Thank you, Chair. Brian, is it possible that they may defer to another project in a few days? And it's advisable to get this started as soon as possible because they have other projects even, or?
I can't speak for the other projects that these contractors have. I just know that both contractors are ready to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to hit the
And that's
ground
always-
and run.
yeah.
Obviously, like I said, bolstering these projects with additional funding and money creates a situation where we need the full season in order to complete them.
My first question was, and you may not have the answer to this, do you know if they have what would be an ideal amount of workforce for what the project does, or don't really know?
All contractors are MDOT pre-qualified, so they would have to have the workforce and experience that would be able to move forward with a project of this nature.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Chair.
Mrs. Ong?
Thank you, Chair. Brian, I'm not seeing 14 Mile between Van Dyke and Hoover on this list. Is that something that you could take a look at? I know that, they're out there right now doing construction between Hoover and Hayes, and I'm so grateful for that, even while being stuck in traffic. But I truly believe that the other part of 14 Mile should be taken a look at. And so if this preservation project is going to look at areas that need to be patched, I would recommend having someone go out there and take a look at it.
Yes, Commissioner, we're currently and have been in coordination with the community as far as different stretches along 14 Mile Road. So I can check with my county highway engineer on that status of discussion, but I know there has been discussions regarding this section and partnering with the community to potentially add additional project in between there.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
No other speakers, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Brian. Item number I, waived by committee chair, budget amendment, facilities and operations. K. We had J.
You're clear, Brian.
Chair, I'll make a motion for full
wanna
board
talk some more?
approval
No.
for item K.
She said I was. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
One second, point of order, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Sabatini made a motion to approve item K, and I supported that. We have not voted on that item yet. Sorry, Mr. Dell, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's fine.
Please vote.
I would like the pavement to be preserved in Macomb County.
Preserving, that's a good idea.
Motion, oh, Commissioner Van Sickle, did your vote come through? No. I can mark it if you want a voice vote.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0.
Or an I, right under J.
And he separated.
Item J, full board approval by board of, requested by the committee. Contract with Spartan Paving.
Pass that one.
We did J and K.
L.
Can we do L and M together?
Budget amendment, facilities and operations, change order.
Sure, thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My purpose for being up here specifically is, as you know, last week, Friday, May 12th, Lynn Bricks Arnott had retired after 51 years of dedicated service to the county. And about 6 years ago, she appointed a deputy director who is to my left, Ben Treppa. He has been the deputy director of facilities and operations. Ben came to the county in 2009. He has his degree from Oakland University in occupational health and safety. For the 14 years that Ben has been here, he has been involved intimately with our county facilities and has helped to identify workplace safety and health hazard issues along the way. Like the job that Lynn always did when she came here to this board, she always made sure she crossed her T's and she dotted her I's, and she did that when she hired Ben Treppa, and has, I guess for lack of a better term, she has groomed him along the way. And the executive office feels very confident that Ben certainly has the youth and the energy to fill these big shoes. Lynn continues to make herself available and will make herself available to Ben and even myself in terms of institutional knowledge, but she doesn't want anything to do with the jail project that you'll be hearing about this week. And I can't say that I blame her, but it was time for her. So I introduced Ben to you. So Ben is going to cut his teeth today by proposing a change order to you. And this is something that the board heard about, I'm going back maybe in December or January of this year, when we discovered there was not enough water pressure at the end of South River Road. And you've heard that before, and I remembered that back in January, we brought a not to exceed number to you because we were trying to pull all these pieces together. We brought a not to exceed, and it was the board's desire at that time to go out, vet the fix, vet the proposal, and bring back the true cost of what that is, and that is before you today. I know that there's been some discussion publicly about Harrison Township's involvement in this, and I just want to clarify that as a resident of Harrison Township myself. The property where the boathouse is being constructed right now is not owned by Harrison Township. It's not township property, it's state property. That is a state boat launch ramp. And all the approvals for this project, not just in the fire suppression area, but everything, goes through the state of Michigan. It's approved at their level. As a courtesy, we did notify Harrison Township that they lack adequate water pressure, and the water main, there's a 6-inch water main that ends at the state property there. And we believe that it's their intention, and based on what we've been told, that they do not have the funds to fix the water main issues both on South River and North River Road, and you know that happens. But
So this is not a problem. The solution that we're presenting to you today was not an oversight on the county's part, on the architects, on the engineer's part. This is something that we discovered, and like all of us, we assume that if we need a fire truck in front of our house, we just assume that the fire hydrant out there at the curb has adequate water pressure to extinguish the flames. And this is something that we discovered. So we can't open the building without an adequate fire suppression building system in the building, and this was one of the options that we have presented to you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ben, and I also have Lou Urban, who's the project manager with Anderson Eckstein and Westrick here, and I have Andy Fountain, who is our program manager for this, and we're hoping to answer all of your questions so we can keep the project moving. Thank you.
And congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, commissioners. To start, I guess, to say I have big shoes to fill would be an understatement. I worked for Lynn for a long time, and she taught me a lot. Mark as well has been just a great supporter. But tonight, day one, I'm here seeking approval of change order number 6 with Rockford Construction Company to provide a vertical pump house system that will provide the required volume and residual pressure necessary to support the building fire suppression system for the Marine Division project currently under construction. The start date was 4/29/2022 with a new or revised project completion date or substantial completion date of 10/5/2023. The amount of $1,280,403.78. Funding is available in the fiscal year 2023 general fund balance.
Any questions? Harold?
Oh,
Commissioner Hall?
Thank you, Chair. Welcome.
Thank you.
You have some big shoes to fill. Lynn came and presented factual information all the time. This seems to be the one project that is a controversy to everybody. You guys went back and got some accurate numbers, brought it back to us. So we're not anticipating you coming back again, looking for another amendment for this project. Can we pretty much have your assurances that's not going to happen?
Yes, Commissioner. We actually have vetted this for a couple months now with the contractor and other subcontractors, so we feel very comfortable in this number.
I'm glad to hear that. We're going to hold you to that.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Zenner?
thank you, Chair. I think this is a great learning point because there have been several changes with people and businesses through all of this, and thinking that the state has all the answers didn't work here at all. And I know that because I talked to the fire marshal there. He was brought the information at the end of what they thought was the program instead of at the beginning, which wasn't from our people, it was from the state. So I guess we know that our people, for sure, have to make sure that the ball's in our court. We don't care about somebody else's court. We just care about Macomb County's court. And that if another state project comes up, they do what they do, and we do what we need to do for Macomb County. And go see the fire marshal, do what we have to do, because they know. And I don't say that you, I'm saying whoever was in charge, we had Crester, we had others, that's a good learning point for the future for our county in many matters.
Understood.
And glad to have you on board. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you, Chair.
Commissioner, thank you. Commissioner Van Sickle?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, Ben. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My only concern is when we have low lake level and then in the winter the ice freezes, that the intake is well below that so we don't have any draw problems. Has that been looked at?
Yeah, I will, this is a good thing, I can defer to my experts with Lou Urban. He can talk to you briefly about the design for that, but I do know it was accounted for, but he can describe that process a little bit better. So
Commissioner Van Sickle, to answer your question, AEW looked at historic lake levels back to, I believe, the earliest recordings were 1919, I believe. And we used that information, lake level information, to determine what the, not only the seawall would be, but what the intake level would be. It is far below the low lake level elevation. And that low lake level elevation was, again, that was back in 1919. I don't expect levels to reach that low, simply because we have significantly more runoff because of hard surface now than we did back in 1919.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner Kraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I thought I heard you say that this was coming out of fund balance, correct?
Yes.
General fund. I know Steve's not here, but can somebody give me a number of what's in the general fund when this is approved?
I'd have to defer to Steve. Mark, do you have any input?
Ballpark? Guesstimate?
Yes.
I'll take whatever you can
I
give
can
me.
tell you, at the end of 2021 or 2022, there was in excess of $90 million in the unrestricted fund balance, which is in the 40% range. Auditors say that you should have, somewhere between 20. I know this board, previous boards have said they'd like to have 25, but our fund balance currently is over 40%.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other speakers? Please vote.
Missing votes from Commissioner Kraft, Sabatini, and Wallace. If you want a voice vote, I can add it into the system.
Yes.
Commissioner Kraft votes yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 12-0 to 1. Commissioner Grote abstaining.
Thank you.
Did they do M?
She abstained.
Did they do M? Did they do M? Because he needs to stay for
yet.
that. He need to stay for M.
Item number 6, correspondence.
Did we do M? Motion. It'll refer to full board.
Support.
Item M.
Please
We
vote.
did L and M.
Then we did.
Oh.
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah, we did, we just
What do you
didn't
do
do
it?
Well, it's a follow-up one.
Yep.
It could have been done together. I didn't see it. I saw it earlier. Okay, whatever you say.
Commissioner Ha and Commissioner Lucido, I need a voice vote from you. I'm sorry.
Yes, Lucido.
Thank you.
Kraft is yes.
Motion passes 12-0 to 1. Commissioner Grote abstaining.
Okay, now we go to item 6, correspondence. Department of Roads Project Information Update. Motion to receive and file.
So move, Hall.
Support Nard.
Vote.
Yes, Lucido.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0.
Item number 7, public participation. Anyone from the public wish to speak? 3 minutes on any topic at all.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Pastor Curtis Ostash. I'm the pastor of Harvest Time Christian Fellowship in South Warren. We didn't intend to be this, but according to the Macomb Food Program and Gleaners, we're the largest food pantry in all of Macomb County. And Commissioners Brown and Commissioners Nard have personally come out to see what
what we do on a weekly basis. We give out food multiple times per week to the community. And as it stands right now, the last several months, we've given food to more than 5,000 individuals monthly. Last month, April, we gave food to 5,773 of our needy, food insecure neighbors. It's kind of unsustainable for us, though. We're just a small little church. We've been around for 31 years. In September will be our 32nd anniversary, this coming September. And the need for food for us is up like 300% this year. We were serving about 1,500 to 1,600 people per month a year ago. Now we're serving more than 5,000. The state has decreased the food assistance that they're offering people. We do get food from the Macomb food program, which we greatly appreciate. We purchase a lot of food from gleaners. People think you just get free food everywhere to be a food pantry, but that's not really the mechanics of it. And we'd like the county to help us in some way sustain what we're doing, because with an unexpected 300% increase this year, what we're doing is not sustainable. We haven't turned anybody away yet, but we want to continue to bless and be of service to our community. We're actually in South Warren, but people come from St. Clair Shores, Roseville, people come from East Point, people come from Sterling Heights. I mean, the demographic's pretty wide. We're helping tons of single moms, veterans, seniors that if we weren't there, many of them tell us that they wouldn't have food. They have tough choices to make. They don't have the money to sustain their households. And it's a significant problem. And, you know, we'd like to further partner in some way. Like I said, we do get food from the county. We distribute about 25% of all pantry food in Macomb County. All the other pantries combined, I think there's about 70 of them, distribute the rest. So by far, we're the biggest pantry. We didn't try to be that. It just kind of happened that way. We're in a great location. There's a smart bus line right in front of our church. A lot of the people that come don't have transportation, personal vehicles at all. They come with wagons. They come with every means, carts, backpacks, and everybody leaves, you know, with a fairly substantial amount of food. Like I said, we've been able to sustain it up until this point in time, but it's not going to be sustainable going forward. But we don't want to cut back what we're doing, and so we're looking for solutions. We're looking for support. We're looking for ideas in terms of you know, how the county can help us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the public?
My name is Sue Ashtosh. I'm the executive director at Harvest Time Christian Fellowship. I'm also on the board of the AOOC for the older citizens here. I'm on the board of McCrest to help with the homelessness. We help a lot with the warming center. We're just a little church, but we've done an amazing things. Something I want to bring to your attention, though, is through the county, there's no longer senior meal programs in South End of Warren. It's been closed since before COVID. There's no Focus Hope program currently in Warren. The closest one people can go to is Clinton Township. Our seniors don't have transportation, and we're serving about 500 seniors every month. And so we are working right now with Focus Hope is coming out to make us a Focus Hope drop site. So we'll be able to assist the county with helping our seniors in that area. We're looking to start up the senior meal programs again, because it's not fair for a senior at 8 in DeQuinder to have to go to 12 Mile or 11 in Hoover to get a meal. They don't have transportation, and it would take about a 3-hour bus ride connecting buses. So it doesn't seem very fair. They've also cut out the WIC program in Warren, COVID. So Warren has not had a WIC program. So all our single moms with children, they don't have access to food, diapers, or formula. They have to go to St. Clair Shores or Clinton Township. And I think something should be done. That should be done either through your health department or give us some staffing or help and we'll do it for them. They're already coming to our building. We're giving what we can. And we're up about 350%. He's trying to be kind, keeping it down. But, you know, just looking at numbers, the rate we're going right now, we'll be giving out 33,000 gallons of milk this year. I mean, it's a simple item, but it's very important to our people. So we're looking to our commissioners to say, how can you help us help you? We have zero payroll. We're all volunteers. So we're just looking maybe for some support for staffing. We work with homeless people. We have probably 3 to 20 homeless people a day. We help them with ID. We help them with food, with meals, housing. We direct them. They don't have the wherewithal to put it together to say, how do I get help? We had several people, they had money in the bank, they got a pension, but they're homeless.
You have 10 seconds.
They lost their ID, so they ended up homeless, living on the street. One guy had $30,000 in the bank. He just needed someone to connect them, which we do that. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. Anyone else from the public? From the public, if not, we'll close public participation. Item 8, commissioners' comments. Any commissioners wish to speak? Commissioner?
I just wanted to say, I did help out with the pantry, and a lot of the people that come, as she stated, they some of them have jobs, and but they're trying to make hard decisions of gas and paying for their medical and feeding their kids. And it was a sight to see that these two people, I mean, nobody there gets paid. Everybody is a volunteer, and they're happy volunteers. And they feed these people, and I've even sat down, because the food is so good, I sat down with some of these people and talked with them and ate with them. And so they're doing a great work. But as everybody here probably knows, I don't know how long they're going to be able to continue to do the quality that they're doing when nothing else is coming in. They're putting everything out, but nothing's coming in. So I would hope that everyone would, we would get together and just see what we can do to help these people continue to work with the people on the south end. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown?
Yeah, I've been down there to see firsthand the good work that goes on down there, and I'll look into seeing what resources might be available to help support that organization in some way. So I don't have the answers right now, but we'll be looking into it. So just be advised. We'll see where it goes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Just this past Saturday, we had the, I think it was a postal pickup. I don't know if any of you folks had it, where you put out, so my wife put up some hard canned food or whatever else. I'm just wondering if maybe the church ought to contact them and see if maybe they can distribute some of that stuff or get some of that stuff from them to help the church out, because I know that probably every third house on my block had food sitting out on the front porch for them to pick up, and I know they're picking it up with trucks now instead of just wagons. So just a thought in mind that maybe some contact with the U.S., I think it's the U.S. Post Office that's picking it up, and maybe they can distribute some of that food to the church and help them out. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Zong?
Thank you, Chair. So last year when we appropriated $300,000 to the food pantry, I think we all sort of knew that that wasn't going to be enough, that really just barely touched the surface. I'd really like to ask staff if they would be willing to invite a representative from the MCA food pantry to come to the board and share with us what they have done with that money, because it has been 6 months now. I'd really like to know if some of that funding was going towards these actual pantries. And by the way, that food drive was actually for the Macomb Food Pantry. So all of the canned goods and dry goods that were collected on Saturday were taken to our food pantry at MCA's, the warehouse. So if that's okay, I think it would be important for someone from MCA to come and share with us what they have done and perhaps what are the needs that they are seeing so that we can better plan for when budget season comes around. Because I will still be saying the same thing I have been saying with the rising prices in grocery stores. I can understand the huge need that there is, and I'm really glad that Commissioner Nard and Chair Brown have gone and seen what those needs are, and I would urge for all of you to do whatever you can to. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners? Commissioner Van Sickle?
Thank you, Chair. I don't know a lot about how United Way distributes funds, but they collect quite a bit of money in the county, and I'm wondering if some of it could go to the food pantries. I don't know if you have to apply to United Way or whatever, but I would suggest possibly looking into that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Hall?
I can help with that, Commissioner Van Sickle. United Way appropriates funding 2 years back. So they're still working on the 2020 budget. They predominantly support Gleaners, who supports the other food pantries. I'm the Macomb County representative for Southeast United Way. Consists of Detroit, Wayne County, Oakland County, and Macomb County. Obviously, like everything else, their funding has been reduced. So you get about we had 992 applicants for monies for food distribution. So it becomes a prioritization of where the need is. And the split is based on population throughout the counties, including the city of Detroit. So it's quite an in-depth process. You have to be a 401c. The application itself, you might as well become an attorney to try to fill that thing out. But it is quite an arduous process. They have limitations. They supply Gleaners, who supplies a lot of the other food distribution. I've tried to get FAN on there. I've tried to get some of the other Macomb County revenue streams available to them. It's not an easy task. So I thought I would add that. Thank you, Chair.
Any other commissioners? Be it none, we'll go to item number 9.
Motion to adjourn.
Support, Zenner.
I didn't finish.
Go ahead and finish.